Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. This video was made for entertainment purposes and is transformative in nature. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, to Black World TV, the new black media, black by popular demand. Family, I know it's been a while, but I've been in and out of YouTube, and I've noticed other black YouTubers have covered issues that I would have covered too, so you haven't missed much. But I digress. This story is about the Trump administration who's trying to deport a man to Haiti who has never been there. That's right, he's a black immigrant. His name is Paul Perelius. He's a 40-year-old financial consultant from Rockland County, New York, and he was born in the French Caribbean territory of Saint Martin, according to a birth certificate supplied by his family, who said he came to the U.S. with his parents when he was 5. His sister and his parents are U.S. citizens. He was picked up on January 11th as part of what human rights advocates say is a last sweep of black migrants in the final days of the Trump administration. He has told his family he was being transferred to an ICE holding facility in Alexandria, Louisiana, which is a typical precursor to deportation. According to his sister, Naomi, he was seized when he went to an immigration office on Federal Plaza in Manhattan on January 11th for what he thought would be a routine visit. He went there for the appointment, and while he was there, he was detained, and he was informed that they have documents stating that he's a Haitian citizen, Naomi Perelia said. She said their parents were Haitian but never applied for Paul's Haitian citizenship. Quote, "We don't really understand how documents were obtained to say that my brother was a citizen of Haiti. My brother has never even been to Haiti. He has the bare minimum of the language. He doesn't know the culture. He doesn't know anyone there. So my brother cannot go there," unquote. Naomi Perelia supplied copies of emails last year from the then Haitian ambassador Harvey Dennis, confirming that her brother was not a Haitian citizen. Nor did Paul's birth in Saint Martin confer French citizenship, making him stateless. Geraldine Joseph, head of the community group Haitian Bridge Alliance, said that the intense level of political violence in Haiti represented a serious threat to Perelius' life. Quote, "Sending him to Haiti, first of all, is not legal," Joseph said. Quote, "And with what's going on in Haiti right now, there is no way they should be deporting people there, period, especially him, because he is not Haitian, has never been there, and has no connections there, so they cannot just drop him at the airport," unquote. Well, let me pause for a second and state for the record. First of all, as we've come to find out, in this white supremacist country of ours, they have shown that they can do as they please. It's time for black people to wake up and quit saying things that they can't do this and they can't do that. They can do what they choose to do under the law of "I'm white and I say so." We've gone over this many times. Black people just need to stop saying that. Now, with respect, this is a black immigrant. And while I'm on that point, this is an area where I have to say that I'm not feeling anything for this brother here. First of all, I live around many immigrants who are not foundational black Americans. I pass you on the streets. I speak to all black people. I don't know where you're from, but when I do come across you, I speak to you, I say hi, I smile, and you turn your nose up at many of us. You look down at us, you call us certain names, and you're not unifying with us whatsoever. So in this instance right here, why should we feel bad for you? I don't. Not at all. I'm looking at this situation going, yes, here it is once again. White supremacy is showing black people why we have a problem by not unifying, even when you're from another country. Because had you unified with us, if you were on the same terms as we are, knowing our history and knowing things that has happened to foundational black Americans, we would have been on your side. In this instance, I'm looking at this situation, shaking my head, and not feeling a thing. But I digress. ICE has been running removal flights to Haiti every second Tuesday and appears ready to press ahead with this week's scheduled flight on the eve of Joe Biden's inauguration. In other words, today, Tuesday, January 19th, 2021. Biden has promised a 100-day suspension of deportations on taking office, while immigration and ICE procedures are reviewed. Well, that's going to be a little too late though, because this brother's going to be on his way to Haiti if they get their way. There have been calls for the agency to be dissolved for its role in enforcing Trump's anti-immigration policies, including the separation of migrant children from their parents. ICE has also been accused of torturing African asylum seekers to make them sign a waiver allowing for their deportation as part of a sweep, particularly targeting African and Caribbean migrants. Once again, we look at you and we're telling you to hold your own cojones. Hold your own nutsack. We've tried to be good and fair and help our brothers and sisters of other countries to come here, just like European immigrants who come here. But once we got you here and you got here, you turned your back on black people. So what are we to do to situations like this? We're to do nothing. We're to look at you and say, you're on your own. Because after all, you never wanted to be a part of us anyways. Furthermore, we've come to find out that many of you who do come here, what do? You find somebody white, either a white man or a white woman to be with. So again, your loyalty, your concern has not been with us, and therefore ours is not with you. I know this does not apply to all immigrants, and I'm not blaming all immigrants, but those of you who are guilty of this, we feel nothing when you have to go. After all, many immigrants, whether you're black, white, Mexican, or what have you, we're pissed as hell that our ancestors, our black, foundational black American ancestors who toiled this land during slavery for centuries, who made this country what it is today, you're here from their efforts. You're taking food off our tables. You are taking resources that belong to us. And then, as we fight for our reparations, you have the gall, the audacity to put your black face in front of a white European camera and say that we don't need it. We've heard several of you, we've seen several of you do just that. You've undermined foundational black Americans. And personally, I'm sick of it. So when I saw this story, I said, you know what? I'm going to do this story, but I'm also going to add my 2 cents. But I digress. So I want to repeat that the U.S. ICE officers used torture to make Africans sign their own deportation orders. That's right. They made you sign your own deportation orders just so they can do what they want to you when it's time. But I digress. Another flight is due to leave Arizona on Tuesday, today, January 19, 2021, heading to Mauritania, carrying black Mauritanian deportees. I hope I'm saying that word right, but despite well-documented persecution and enslavement of their community there, deportations of black Mauritanians were rare before the Trump administration, under which they have increased more than tenfold. An ICE spokeswoman said that she could not confirm any deportation flight until it had landed for reasons of operational security. That being said, it is not uncommon for removal flights to stop in multiple locations, the spokeswoman said. Now, the ICE Twitter account celebrated Martin Luther King Day on Monday, saying that it honored his, quote, message of hope, justice, and equality, unquote. We know that's a lie. They love to always bring up Martin Luther King's dream, but they'll never bring up, we're coming for our check. Meaning, we want our reparations. We're coming for our check. We want our reparations. You guys always seem to, or fail to acknowledge that. But I digress. Joseph said that the agency's relentless deportation of Haitians and Africans, for those of you who kept saying that, oh, the Trump administration, they're not racist, but said that the agency's relentless deportation of Haitians and Africans, i.e. black folk, despite the endemic violence there and the risk of spreading coronavirus, made a mockery of that claim. Quote, they have been targeting black communities. They have been targeting black immigrants. So this is the last attempt of destroying lives, she said. As we celebrate the life of Martin Luther King, who has been fighting for justice, and on the eve of the inauguration, this cannot happen. This should not be happening. So, with that as I close out, Paul Perelius, the 40-year-old financial consultant from New York, I feel nothing. Good riddance. I wish they'd get rid of all the immigrants. Peace out.